The World Wide Web. Originally, something intended to be a solution for the scientific community to share information amongst itself faster. I wonder if the people involved in its creation ever thought about what it would become. A powerful entity, a chaotic tool that was also vital to people's day-to-day lives. We as a species are more connected now than we have ever been in history. We have the power to access grand libraries of information with a simple query and a press of a button. The internet is one of many advancements in technology that humanity has made that 500 years ago, we wouldn't have even dreamed of. Of course, one of the things to come from this myriad of advancements in society is that it grows increasingly harder for criminals to get away with crimes. Hell, just the other day, I saw a video talking about how a man wished to run away to Uzbekistan with a woman he met online and leave his family, and someone just so happened to interview him before he seemingly faked his death to do this.
Do I go to Uzbekistan or stay here?
This is the video that everybody is talking about, recorded in Pacific Beach in June. 2 months before, 45-year-old Ryan Borgward went missing from Green Lake, Wisconsin, while fishing in a kayak.
I believe right now it got 13 million views on TikTok.
While this technically isn't a crime, it's just a recent example of how in the age of the internet and social media, it is harder to fly under the radar. However, while some crimes have become easier to solve, the internet has given way to a new type of crime, or at the minimum, a new way to commit crimes. While there are people online using the internet for nothing more than innocent menial tasks like researching a project or watching adorable ferret videos, there are people at the same time using it for diabolical acts, luring the most vulnerable of our communities into conversations, asking for things that no one in their right mind should be asking them for. Of course, there are law enforcement agencies and task forces that exist to hunt these monsters, to bring them to justice for their crimes. But what happens if the average person says that it's not enough? What happens when there is, understandably so, no trust in that system? What happens when there are not enough people in those agencies to protect those of us who need protecting? What happens when you take that and you combine people who have the time and energy to investigate, the passion and desire to protect, and then of course, social media? Salutations, sheeple, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sami, and today we're continuing to talk about some of the names that have been embroiled in controversy in the year 2024. The unrelated bit of wisdom for today is too much or too little of everything is a bad thing. Before we get into this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and maybe hit that notification bell. And yeah, let's get into this. MamaMax, or Max Striker, has been on YouTube since May 25th, 2016. Or at least that's what most people think. He was actually on YouTube for quite a few years before that. He was known as Mama Mad, and his focus then was reacting to anime visual erotica and just weirder anime in general while making edgy jokes. The edge would continue throughout his YouTube ventures, being well known for his Life Sucks series, where he discussed things he struggled with, like bullies and anxiety. From there, he transitioned into discussing ARG/horror games/ internet mystery type topics. With his glitchy VHS horror editing style, some aspects of which I will definitely be incorporating into my own editing in the future,
It's free real estate.
and his tendency of using a deep voice to add to the horror element, his following surrounding this would grow. The Max most of us know, however, would come into fruition March 27, 2020. Starting with this video, Cartoon_Incorporated. This video was discussing one channel that masqueraded itself as kid-friendly, but was actually meant to show extremely inappropriate and bizarre content to younger audiences. This phenomenon was a part of something known as Elsagate, named this due to Elsa being a common character meant to lure in the attention of children, along with Spider-Man and Peppa Pig, just to name a few others. There were quite a few things brought up in this video, but the most important aspect mentioned is that in the comments of the videos on Cartoon Incorporated's channel, there were many predators looking to lure children into conversations. Max claimed to bait multiple of these predators with a fake account, social engineering his way into their computers with a Trojan, and reporting their information to the FBI. There was also some talk of subliminal messages and an Elsagate cult talked about in this video, but we'll circle back to this later. Max would be praised in the comments section for this. Multiple people in his audience stepping forward with their stories of being child survivors, asking him to continue what he's doing, hunting PDF files and bringing them to justice.
This man is literally savage. He just casually mass reports and injects Trojans into people's computers.
I must admit it was badass when he said, "Don't worry about me." Worry about them.
You actually pretended to be a 13-year-old girl over a phone call. That's wild, impressive, and inspiring.
And he would. Despite his videos constantly being demonetized due to the topics he was talking about, Max would continue uploading videos of this nature, not allowing YouTube to deter him even when they would take down his videos. One of these videos that was taken down was a video where he was hunting predators on an online gaming platform known as IMVU. Supposedly, YouTube wasn't providing much of a reason this video was taken down. The only reason that could be pinpointed being a shot that showed a bare video game character butt. Many YouTubers in the commentary and investigative journalism communities jumped to defend MamaMax, joining him in a video he posted December 26, 2021, calling out YouTube for leaning away from their creators and their creator freedoms and leaning more towards advertiser-friendly content. These YouTubers had complaints about how their videos would be removed and their channels would get guideline strikes for discussing sensitive topics or problematic people and behaviors, while places like big news networks covered these topics just fine. Or, even worse, the problematic behaviors from specific people they were discussing would continue unchecked. Max also took this time to ask people with large platforms like Keemstar, Chris Hansen, Moist Critical, and Corpse Husband to speak on this issue. He ends the video with asking his fanbase to spread the hashtag #PickASideYouTube until YouTube decides whether they wanted to side with the creators that made their platform or their public image. Max would effectively incite a social media mob against YouTube itself and the creators he had mentioned in his video. While many people did have issues with how he handled the situation.
Anyway, I guess because I disagreed with this silly hashtag, all of a sudden I got out Captain America's shield, I'm putting the pedophiles behind me. Get behind me, boys, I got us covered. I'll take the hits here. But let me explain. I think the pick aside, children or pedophiles is extremely goofy and distorts the actual message of his video.
Eventually, YouTube did respond, promising to do better. Max would continue making his videos, being praised all the while. The praise would continue even after one YouTuber, MagnetarYT, posted a video in late July of 2022, bringing forward the allegations of 3 of Max's ex-girlfriends.
For those of you that are regulars to this channel, you know me as Magnetar. For everybody that's new here specifically for this video, my name is Anthony. I am the same Anthony that is dating Haley, one of the 3 women in this particular video that is sharing her experiences with MamaMax.
His ex-girlfriends accused him of stalking, abusive, controlling, and manipulative behavior, as well as intimate assault. This particular topic is a sensitive one for me, so I will not be elaborating too much on this. Links will be in the description, and I encourage you all to look at them yourselves. Max will respond to these allegations with his video, Believe All Abusers.
Hello everyone, welcome back to an exclusive MamaMax cancellation video.
Denying what was said by his exes, claiming that they came forward for clout, money, spite, and attention. Max ended this video with accusing Magnetar of being a PDF file with multiple victims over the span of 8 years. His fans, prompted on by Max himself saying this, would see the narrative as abusive women came forward with a PDF file to tear down the PDF file hunter.
It's poetic that my abusers try to take me down with the help of a file.
His fans would fill Magnetar's comments section with things like, why would a predator hunter commit predatory acts? And also, Amber Heard wannabes, as this was the year that the Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp trial was happening. Max would continue on with his YouTube channel after this, with seemingly little effect to him. Max would keep doing his predator hunting thing. To my knowledge, he made no notable waves until October 27, 2023, where a video titled Brainwash Your Favorite Influencers would be posted. This video would be, once again, calling out larger creators and content creators to come forward and speak on the issue.
Please send this video to your favorite influencer. We will test them on the content of their character.
The issue this time being the allegations of a werewolf cult leader who had victimized hundreds. Spencer would be the first alleged victim to come forward, being the one to bring this to Max's attention. In this, he would also call for donations to his Patreon, saying that all proceeds earned during the month of October and from the ad revenue of that video would be going towards the legal battle against wolf cult leader guy versus his victims. This would also be the start of God Cult, a MamaMax rebrand attempt that was supposedly some sort of guard our daughters and sons type movement, which raised a lot of red flags for people. Comments on this video were turned off by the time I found it, so I can't tell exactly what the response to it was, but the general consensus is clear. People thought the way he handled it was whack, with the weird cult rebrand, his requests for funding, and how he was accusing someone with no public evidence. However, this didn't seem to deter him at all. November 11th, 2023, he uploaded a video titled, This is What Happened to MamaMax, where he went into the criticisms people had with his last video, and the direction shift of his channel from a few years ago, when he was making Life Sucks videos, to now. Max would also address the fact that he had reached out to multiple influencers, not receiving the response and active engagement with the situation he wanted, and ended it by once again boosting the allegations. November 13th, 2023, he was, once again, publicly calling for high-profile YouTubers and victims of the alleged Wolfcoat leader, asking to have a public square-like talk with whatever YouTubers were willing to reach out to him, taking 15 minutes to have the victims he had spoken to speak to said YouTubers, telling their stories. This video will be followed by yet another video posted nearly 2 weeks later, initially made to look like an expose on Moist Critical. Originally titled, "This is the greatest cancellation of all time," this was intended to lure in more eyes, and the average person who just saw the thumbnail and title and knew what MamaMax was known for would assume Charlie was being exposed for being a predator. This was later changed, of course. This video was, once again, a call to action for large YouTubers, calling out creators for not responding to Max having reached out about the alleged wolf cult, and essentially shaming people who are paying attention to Sniper Wolf doxing Jack's films instead of, his grandstanding. His opinion on the situation was that Sniper Wolf doxing Jack wasn't that big of a deal, especially compared to other issues in the world, such as bringing PDF files to justice.
Behind the clicks and views of internet drama, there's a story. We're overlooking millions of stories, in fact.
This video would seem to be the straw that broke the camel's back. His comment sections were filled with people saying things like,
"Overshadowed by Sniper Wolf situation? Seems insensitive, as Jack Film's family could have been harmed. Don't pretend like predators are the only bad people in the world."
I'm not a CSA survivor, but I am an attorney and have defended clients against false CSA accusations. People I know to be innocent, not just in a every client is innocent way, but in a the evidence makes it clear they weren't even in the same country when the stuff happened, or there's no way they ever met the alleged victims' ways. What you're doing is probably coming from a good place, but it's a terrible way to go about it. And I've seen firsthand how throwing accusations like this at people without real claims not only can harm the individual you're accusing, but has larger repercussions on CSA survivors as a whole. It's a boy who cried wolf scenario. When such accusations are made without reason, it harms the gravitas with which future and real accusations are treated, and it gives real predators more and more examples they can point to and claim, "Look how this innocent person was accused. My case is no different." If, or if not, you realize it, what you're doing is infinitely more harmful than Charlie just not talking about it at all. You're risking ruining lives and letting the people you rightfully hate have an easier time getting away over you not liking the content of some YouTube creators. Obviously, you can't undo this video and the harm it's done, but you can prevent more harm by stopping now.
I love you, MamaMax, but myself as a CSA survivor, I don't think it's fair or necessary to belittle one crime to call attention to another. I 100% understand and agree with the severity and horror of the gross cult, but Sniper Wolf vs. Jack's Films is definitely more than quote-unquote just latest internet drama.
That sentiment would just grow. Over the next few months, there would be multiple live streams, both on MamaMax's channel and Spencer's, which has now been nuked, and multiple videos where Max just continues to double down on the allegations and his methods. A lot of people didn't end up watching these streams due to them being nearly 6 hours long in one case and over 8 hours long in another. Max would be very tight-lipped about what evidence he did have at this time, saying that YouTubers would have to sign an NDA to join a Discord server with himself and the victims to see this evidence. Despite the fact that he wasn't revealing much, he was still encouraging said YouTubers to spread the information he had revealed himself. This would all eventually culminate into a Discord call between Mutahar, Nicholas Diorio, Max, and Spencer, where the last of any chance Max had to recover from this situation slipped from his fingertips. He reveals that he hadn't properly taken the time to analyze all the stories of the victims.
I guess the challenge for me with showing the evidence is I personally have not been walked through the evidence besides Spencer's.
A few minutes later.
No idea what you're doing. It's so evident.
I didn't fucking look at all this evidence. I didn't vet it properly. Now you're pulling up legal definitions.
That is not what I said, Mudahar. That is not what I said.
That is exactly what you said.
Can you allow me to clarify them?
Sure, clarify this, please.
Okay. I'm in the server where they are posting evidence. Not all of them have walked me through what the evidence is as to what the context is.
And that he believes them despite this. He used ChatGPT as a way to defend himself, claiming that
ChatGPT understands the legal system.
He defends his lack of evidence by saying things like, Moist Critical makes claims about Sneeko being a person attracted to minors with little evidence.
People have gone by with a lot less. Even Charlie has called people pedophiles without any hard evidence.
Who specifically?
Who was it? Was it Sneeko?
Bro, I mean, Sneeko was literally defending the shit out of cuties. Let's not pretend. Come on.
He doubles down on his claims that Magnetar is a predator, saying, "Someone else told me that this thing happened, therefore that is enough evidence to go to court with."
Well, this is what I'm saying. There's multiple things against Anthony Field. For me, I feel comfortable saying he is a pedophile. I don't feel he could do anything to me legally for saying that, because if he were to, the girl who made the testimony would come forward and testify.
So she has his dick pic and has timestamps of when it was sent. That's real, it exists?
He does not have his dick pic.
So what does she have that she could come forward with?
Just her memory.
The entire situation was a shit show, especially when you bring up the fact that even though he has stated that he has in the past, he has not actually brought any PDF files to justice.
So you've never actually gotten a pedophile arrested?
Not to my knowledge.
And that all aspects of his videos should be considered fictional unless he shows a PDF file's face.
So that's the thing. So I want everyone, when you watch my video, to assume everything is fake, except like when I show a pedo's face and what they're doing. Like, because obviously that's all real.
Many YouTubers, including Nexpo, came forward during the course of these events to denounce Max's actions.
Hey guys, former MamaMax editor here, Angry Slug. I quit. I'm not your editor, Max. And, I don't like what I heard in that leaked call, because this is probably one of the most painful things for me to read, because this is somebody that I sat down, had a drink with, had a talk to, gave a heart to.
And I haven't even properly touched on the grifting type behavior he exhibited during this whole situation, especially surrounding how he was saying he was going to sue some ordinary gamers.
In this he types, at everyone, Spencer and I, Spencer being his lead witness in this vampire sex cult case, are considering a class action lawsuit against Mudar for breaching our non-disclosure agreement, inciting harassment on live streams, defamation, and causing emotional distress. He's extremely rich, so the lawsuit seeks $1 million in damages to be distributed between all of you.
I haven't touched on how he claimed to have proper checks for his Discord, but then the Discord server got breached by a random person, and how a mega link that he had evidence for his cases in was taken down, likely for having inappropriate content related to his investigations. He said that the link belonged to someone on his team / close to his operations, but we don't know exactly what the link was removed for, just theories based off the pop-up that showed up when you tried to access the link. Max posted on his Patreon in February of this year, announcing that he would have to seek local employment as his operations have been severely crippled due to powerful external forces.
For those of you that remain, despite the recent defamation campaign, your support has been invaluable. Unfortunately, our operation here has been severely crippled, so I'm currently seeking local employment, but I remain committed to our film projects in my free time. Here are the current plans. 1. We'll proceed with the documentary on after law enforcement has concluded their investigation. 2. An extremely detailed response video, Silence All Survivors, is in the works, revealing certain influencers' actions against us and the survivors we're supporting. Given the sheer volume of attacks, finalizing this project may take months. If there are specific concerns you want addressed, please mention them in the comments. 3. It seems our detractors will continue to drown out our voices with more falsehoods and accusations until we give up, but the truth soon emerges over the horizon. Stay alert and open-minded until you finally see the other side of this story. Theoretically, I could engage in the same manipulative strategies, align with their adversaries, exploit every rumor and accusation ever made about them, orchestrate gossip among our peers to alienate them, and even platform their most abusive ex-partners and past enemies. However, I refuse to engage in such tactics, choosing instead to present facts and let you judge them based on their own merits. Thank you again for believing in us. We will not be silenced.
He hasn't posted anything since August 31st of this year, where he once again doubles down on the situation and calls everyone crazy for not believing him and his minuscule evidence. I can't exactly speak to the laws involved with an average person taking an investigation onto themselves, as I'm sure those vary in every state, but I will say this. It is a fact that some actions can make pieces of evidence inadmissible in court. Let's make up a scenario to explain this as well as I can. Let's say there is a situation where a crime occurred in an apartment. In order to verify the facts of what happened in that apartment, a team of trained professionals must enter the apartment with the proper equipment to collect and test things like fingerprints and blood. They must take pictures of how the environment appeared just after the crime was committed. However, before this team of professionals can get there, someone arrives and sees how the place is in shambles. They haven't ever solved a crime before, but they think the professionals aren't here yet, so I need to do something. They start walking through the apartment, making footprints that weren't there before. They start moving things around to look at them or under them, adding their fingerprints to those objects. They don't put things back like how they were because they don't remember how they were, and they didn't take pictures. Additionally, they decided they were going to clean up parts of the apartment, like maybe washing and putting away 2 sets of dishes that were dirty from the night before, which is notable because the victim of the crime lived alone. In more ways than one, this person who took things into their own hands and had nothing but the best intentions in mind to help bring the victim justice and maybe assist with making sure the victim can return to less of a cluttered home, has contaminated the crime scene. When the professionals do arrive and can start looking at things, so many things can't be properly tested, or may turn out to be incorrect leads for the investigation. Oh, and on top of this, the good-meaning Samaritan took what evidence they did find and posted it to social media, accusing a specific person of doing the crime. That person who was accused of the crime decides to flee from the state to escape scrutiny. If the person accused did commit the crime, they're fleeing and hiding any evidence they can think of because they now know people are actively looking into them. If not, it's having people online who aren't aware of the full details harass the accused person, and to contact the professionals with their theories that they are convinced is correct, leading the professionals to follow after a lead that isn't accurate, leaving the truth undiscovered for longer. And then, after all of this is said and done, the Good Samaritan then asks for money on behalf of the victim of the crime, claiming that all the money was meant for legal fees and reparations for the victim, even though at this point, the evidence the Samaritan has collected has a very high chance of being inaccurate. This is effectively what Max has done. If the situation he brought up actually does have merit, he has contaminated the crime scene. If it doesn't, he has called into question his previous investigations, which people have certainly been ripping apart with all the reasons to now scrutinize him. He himself said that his former investigations should be perceived as fictional. He admitted to lying about putting PDF files behind bars. He himself dismissed the allegations brought forward by his exes because you can't just trust what they say, while also saying, I trust what this one person said to me because the proof they have is their memory. Which brings us to talking about Magnetar. Max accused what I believe to be an innocent man of predatory behavior, saying, hey, this totally isn't a way to deflect away from the accusations, but it is now very blatant that this is exactly what it was meant to do, with people commenting things like,
from someone who's been a victim of these types of things when I was younger, 9 to 12 years old, I commend your work. Thank you. Never stop doing what you're doing. I'm 17 now, almost 18, and wish I've never made the choices or went through the things I had when I was younger. But what is done is done. Thank you for getting these sick bastards.
Every time I click on one of Max's videos, I immediately feel an aura of safety. I don't know why, but I love it. Oh, this did not age well.
With him, in his eyes, winning against YouTube multiple times in the past, propelling himself more and more into savior status, I'm confident in my opinion that Max saw himself infallible. I believe he saw himself as someone no one could touch or criticize, because why would you criticize him? He hunts predators and protects children. If you criticize him, obviously you're protecting predators. Max has given the werewolf cult dude a way out of his alleged crimes, if the alleged crimes are real. His behavior towards the entire situation has been defamatory at best and violently reckless at worst. Not only has he ruined his community's trust in himself, he has possibly ruined other potential internet investigations. If not just against the werewolf cult dude, other potential predators. Say someone decides to follow in his footsteps. Since he was not careful and concise with how he went about anything in this situation, there may surely be others who will copy what he does because unfortunately, that's how the internet works. For many activities, there are copycats, whether it's hot-headed idiots who want to bring what they believe is justice, or people who genuinely want to help but don't know any better because of what was modeled to them. And what reasons would they have to doubt that what they have perceived is the wrong thing to do? With more and more of our daily lives being on the internet, I support investigations led by individuals. The internet can be and is a very vital resource for many situations. However, there are very slippery slopes between a proper investigation and just searching for social media clout. There are slippery slopes between assisting with crimes getting prosecuted and fucking everything up. In my opinion, Max seems to have some sort of obsession with cults and cult-like behavior. His Cartoon Incorporated video, which I doubt any aspect of was real, had some sort of cult side story involved in it. He did it again with his most recent string of videos. He even blatantly tried to start and name his own cult-like thing with the stupid god cult stuff. I believe he has some obsession with being in a position of power, and I do not know if this is just a character he plays or if it is his actual belief.
But I am being the nicest I could be. I could literally cancel you, Charlie. I could literally cancel you, and I choose not to. It's true though. It's the truth. Like, I'm the friggin' pedo hunter.
I hadn't heard of Max before Mudahar's video on him earlier this year. Or at least I thought I hadn't before doing research for this video. I do remember the internet buzzings around his pick a side YouTube due to so many YouTubers whose content I consumed posting about it. I believe that this man is a megalomaniacal narcissist who just so happened to stumble across the fact that people hate PDF files and love the people who hunt them. Prompted on by the aftermath of the third adpocalypse, he made his video and saw how many people were praising him. How many people were looking up to him and begging him to be a savior, if not for them as they were past victims, then for potential and current victims.
This call made me so uncomfortable. Scares the shit out of me how many predators are out there. I'm glad MamaMax is actively finding and reporting them. Much support.
I believe he thinks himself a god amongst humans, and he uses his guise of, I just wish to protect the most vulnerable of us, to fuel his ego and fill his belly. I believe that went to his head, and that's still in his head. He's on a high horse, made of his own delusions, and despite the fact that he has lost all credibility, he has lost multiple people who have considered him friends, and worst of all, he has, at best, taken advantage of people who look to him as a light in a world full of darkness, and at worst, ruined an investigation into an alleged predator. Protecting children is very important to me. Preventing and eliminating child exploitation is a thing I am extremely passionate about. I do not wish for any child to experience any of the things I have. I believe Max understands that the majority of the world wishes to protect children. I know he understands how to tell a story and sell a narrative. I believe he took that knowledge and profited off of it, and then, in my opinion, he got too greedy. However, I don't know if this entire thing was just meant to be a character, a long film project that has lasted years. But either way, Max has severely messed up. Since January, Max has lost nearly 100,000 subscribers, possibly more. I'm not sure what his Patreon income or following looked like, but he has certainly lost income from there as well, seeing as he has to get a job that's not YouTube now and all. It has yet to be seen whether or not Max will be able to bounce back from this, but it's very unlikely. Hi. Editing Zombie from the future here. So this video ended up taking me a lot longer than I thought it was going to get done. It is currently January 3rd of 2025. For reference, I finished recording this audio December 8th, 2024. So my bad, I guess. Turns out MamaMax is planning on coming back. As of yesterday, while recording this, he posted to his Patreon, and while I cannot share the video here, his video essentially said, hey guys, I'll be back. Thank you guys for being so patient. Yada yada, yada yada. I don't know when he plans to be back, but I will be covering it when he does, I guess. Maybe, if I feel like it by then. I don't know. I am so sick and tired of this dude by now. So we will see. In the meantime, I did spend $5 on his Patreon to make sure that I got you guys that updated information. In exchange, I would appreciate it if you guys joined my Patreon. I currently have absolutely nothing for it set up except for the $1 tier, which you can use to support the channel. If just 5 of you guys signed up, I could pretend like I never gave MamaMax money. Okay, that was all I really planned for the bit. He has lost the support of many people who called him friends, and the support of people who held him up financially, and even just subscribers who watched him and interacted with his videos, rooting him on. At the end of this, he reminds me a lot of Onion Boy, if you know, you know. He'll likely just keep popping back up with people ignoring him when he does, eventually just getting more and more sick of his bullshit. As I've mentioned earlier, the online investigative community has been something vital to bringing people's attention to a situation. CoffeeZilla is a great example. In the end, what we can do is take this as a reminder to do your own research. Heavily analyze to the best of your ability what information is being brought to you, especially if that information induces a strong feeling and you are being asked to do something, especially if that thing is to give money or attention that may result in them getting money. Question every source for your information, especially me. What do you think? Is Max a good meaning Samaritan that just got in too deep? Or is he a guy who let his perceived power get to his head? Or is he just a guy who wanted to be a filmmaker and chose the worst possible topic and way to do it at every step of the way? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know what you guys think. Do you think that there should be more cyber vigilantes? What is your opinion on cyber vigilantism? If you don't want to have a conversation, I'd still love to hear from you. Why not just comment the word water to let me know you made it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed my talking about my opinions and ranting about the situation, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss future videos. But in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.